About to test your commitment level.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you this question, though, Dawson.
Shoot.
You can only sign one. You can only sign one. You sign Pickens or Bland after next year. You only sign one, Pickens or Bland. And tell me why you would sign either Pickens or Bland.
I'm going to sign George Pickens because I think he has the chance to be excellent, and I think DaRon Bland is going to be one of these guys who's about top 25 at his position, getting paid like a top 5 guy.
That's a pretty good argument. That is a pretty good argument. I am very hopeful that now, off the injury from last year, Bland will be back to being the best version of himself.
Mm-hmm.
The versatility of boundary and inside is nothing to scoff at with him.
Yeah.
And you can find receivers. It's hard to find legit corners.
Yeah.
So based on that, and especially where the wide receiver money is now, talking about committing like probably $30 million to 2 receivers each, that's a tough way to allocate the dollars. So I would just go with the corner. If I didn't have Lamb, it'd be a different story. But I got Lamb. I'm willing to pay one bona fide stud receiver at a time. I can find other receivers.
Does it bother you at all that your offense just seems to need another guy? That
it doesn't bother me. I just feel like I can find that guy. It's not like, hey, George Pickens leave and then here we go, Tolbert or Mingo. It's like, no, you got to go get a legit receiver. But if you actually care about the position, it's one of those that you can go get.
Yeah, Derek Eagleton said the same thing you did today, though. He says
Smart man.
He says it's harder to find good corners as it is to find good wide receivers. But I think we're getting closer. I'm going to ask you this same question, Wilchup, because you look at the draft. Do you feel like, though, that would you take Pickens knowing that you know what you know about wide receivers in drafts? Or would you take Bland what you know about corners in these drafts?
I'd still lean Bland. I think this past year, we did probably have more corners that I liked than wide receivers, but I think that was an outlier year. Typically, I think we've been really rich when it comes to the wide receiver group. So I mean that's why I advocated for them to give Diggs the money, because it's just tough to find corners like that. Unfortunately, that's definitely aged poorly with the injuries and maybe the personality of the player. But I'd lean Bland. I hope George Pickens has an awesome year, but we got to just see how all this unfolds. There could be a lot that still goes with the George Pickens on your roster.
Are you predicting doom and gloom like you're predicting Detroit and Philly not making the playoffs?
For the Cowboys or just for George Pickens? No,
George Pickens.
I think it's contract year. I think this is going to be, for the most part, very, very positive. But I do think I'd rather somebody else shell out the $30 million than the Cowboys for him.
Man, I'm surprised. I'm surprised about, so no thought about trying to kind of help Dak there on that.
With all due respect to that conversation,
I mean, I know. Okay, it seems like to me there's a couple of you guys have moved on in your mind. You've moved on from Dak.
I've just seen they had 3 really good wide receivers. People were saying they got 3 ones at that time with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup.
Yep.
And that didn't do anything for you. You lost in the wild card round of the playoffs. Now,
So
they still need to add a receiver if they lose George Pickens, and they should draft one, probably, is what the answer will be.
I think they were trying to draft one.
Oh, yeah.
The guy just
if
didn't
Ted
get
was
to,
there, they'd have taken him.
I don't think the guy. Eric, are you making this decision because of the quarterback?
No, I'm making this decision. I think this is like a realistic decision that most teams that, like, despite the quarterback, I would be leaning with my corner over my wide receiver 2. Cornerback 1 or wide receiver 2. And again, it's not like, hey, Dak, I don't want you to have a stud. I'm going to go replace him with a cheap guy in the draft, because I feel like, generally speaking, that is a position that you can get in the draft.
Ultimately, I would like the option of signing neither. I think with Lamb and a draft pick, you're going to have enough firepower, but I want to continue to invest in the run game and the defense. Line of scrimmage stuff.
Where are you at, Broaddus?
I was to the offense.
Yeah.
I was to the offense. Because to me, I look at it as I struggle with the whole Dak thing.
Yeah, you want to give him an explosive passing game.
Every time I ask, please give him another coordinator, please give him more weapons, and then you're right. He had the 3 guys that didn't work out. I think that you've made such an investment in that position that I'd like to see it. It's hard finding corners though, man. But I think that with this Ravel, I think you might have stole one.
I think so too. I think
you
what
might
makes
have
Bland
stole
special is he might not.
You
want
stole
to do
him.
It, but and the Cowboys do have a good history of getting some guys on day 3.
Yeah.
But I like Bland's in the slot, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Eric.
Yes, sir.
I played this game with Vach last night on our podcast that we do. Have I mentioned that before?
You guys do a podcast?
Stop me if I have mentioned it before. Kaiir Elam, cornerback, continues to make plays. And this is the game it's called. It's called See and Oxnard.
Sir.
See and Oxnard.
I like how you guys are using that,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, we're going to give you credit for it. You got a good podcast, too, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love watching you guys, though.
I appreciate you. What's the name of it again? I always like to get reminded.
We're at How About Wow on YouTube.
That's right.
Maybe I'll put the link in the YouTube chat right now.
Please do. That'd be great. Appreciate that. All right. But I played this game. It's called See and Oxnard. And what it's based really on is what we've seen in OTAs, or what the media part is what we've seen in OTAs.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Fachi these questions, but I started with Elam. And I said he continues to make plays on the ball during these media practices. Are you encouraged by this, or See and Oxnard?
This is a total C in Oxnard for me. Especially, and shout out to our guy Tony in the 214, who's an avid Gbagger and loves him some Kaiir Elam. He will get all the credit in the world from me if Elam ends up being a stud. But like,
he is showing up. These media things,
yeah.
He's knocking balls down and stuff.
I think at least from what we read about yesterday's, it was so windy outside they had to move everything inside. And Dak is underthrowing a deep ball when Pickens has multiple steps on him, and it's an underthrown ball in the wind that Kaiir Elam gets to take advantage of.
All right.
Did he intercept it? Or did he just knock it down?
He's
knocking down an underthrown ball in the wind.
He's getting
Pick that thing.
He's getting hands on the ball.
No, that's a C in Oxnard, sir, for me.
How about you there, Wooly?
Yeah, I probably need to see it in Oxnard, but I'm optimistic about this.
Okay, I asked you if you were encouraged or see in Oxnard. It's one or the other.
Are you seeing Walchuk on the fence right now? Is that what you're doing?
I haven't gotten.
Your eyeballs are telling you
I'm
he's on the
just
fence.
asking. Did he just kind of give an answer like he was trying to go the fence?
Well, I'm giving my answer. I haven't been able to see him, but it is great to see that he's getting his hands on the football.
Are you encouraged by what you're hearing from your media?
I absolutely am. Very much so.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yes. I thought Kaiir Elam was a total throwaway.
I'm encouraged.
We're bringing in a bust here to pretend he can play corner, but yeah, that's good. He's actually out there making plays.
Hey, Walchuk went bold yesterday with his predictions. Let him get back to the fence for a few minutes before he goes bold again.
Fence riding. I try not to do this, but I got to get my own eyes out there to make my own assessment. But yes, very encouraged.
No, but we're hearing like
this is just hearsay.
That's what I'm saying. It's total hearsay right now. So, but a lot of Cowboy fans are that way too.
You got to evaluate with your eyeballs, not your ears.
Yeah.
No news would be bad news in this situation, right? We're hearing news, and it's good.
They're hearing news. All right.
I mean, I would call it like 5% encouraged though.
How about this one, Wooly?
Okay.
Miles Sanders is showing more juice than the other running backs during these media practices. Encouraged or see in Oxnard?
Yeah, this is a big time see in Oxnard. I'm
glad you're not riding the fence on this one.
I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see
back.
it. I don't know about Miles Sanders just yet. I got to see this one.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, you go to Carolina, nothing's going on with the offense. Your quarterback is in an early career crisis. You don't have weapons. Of course, you're not going to be able to run, which means not much tread off the tires in those 2 years, Brian. I'm excited about Miles Sanders. I think he's got a much better chance than Javonte Williams.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I went, ooh, is like, that's a good statement.
Yeah.
How about you there, Chief?
In terms of like him being better than Javonte Williams, I am like buying that. You know, but like how like he looks like he's got more juice than Javonte Williams doesn't really mean
surprise you?
It doesn't super surprise me, no. I think Javonte Williams.
Why are you hearing more about him than Blue?
Now that's the thing that is I'm just taking that as young, slow playing, learning, trying to figure it out. But
he's just not. Blue's just not going to be a starter for you. Year one.
Dawson's asking. We need him to be a starter.
Not happening.
When you talk about OTAs, if you told me before OTAs we're going to hear about a running back with juice, I'm
You would
thinking
think it's blue.
I'm
You're
thinking
gonna think
blue.
blue, yeah.
And we haven't heard really anything about it.
Okay, not to bring up my podcast, How About Wow, again on YouTube, but we just did a comp for Kamara and Work Done, who both won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and they both played with guys who were getting the majority of the carries. All you needed from a dude was like 12 touches a game in blue. So I don't need to have all the carries. If he does, that would be ideal. But I think he can have a massive impact considering how much this team needs the wiggly guys.
They need the wiggly guys. He's going to end up being your best runner.
I think so.
4-2-8.
Not going to have start.
I think so too. I think so too. All right, Dawson.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You're going to like this one. Joe Milton has been feast or famine during these media practices. I'm going to change this to worried or see in Oxnard.
See in Oxnard. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping Joe Milton can start putting this thing together. I'm skeptical because of his accuracy. But yeah, I'm not worried. I started very skeptical that he could be good. So, I'm just waiting for these couple of preseason games. Go out there, put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat exactly what you described that as?
What'd you describe that as?
Worried.
Worried about Joe Milton?
Yeah. Just like all of a sudden you'd see like 2 or 3 interceptions of practice, but you also see like 2 or 3 like big time throws.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is sort of what we expected in my mind.
Okay,
I'm hoping that at some point over, I guess it'll be some level of CU and Oxnard that you can, by the end of it, it's not guaranteed that he's just throwing random interceptions to linebackers, but I was expecting some volatility here with this guy.
Very boomer bust player. He is a feast or famine type of guy. He's going to wow you. And then he's going to make you want to pull your hair out a little bit at times. That's kind of how he was at Tennessee. There's a reason he was benched for Hendon Hooker. So I'm very excited about the upside, but I got to see him in Oxnard. As long as he's looking better than what we saw from Trey Lance a year ago.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. You feel better about him or Trey Lance?
No question I feel better about him.
Better about which one? About Joe?
About Milton, yeah.
You feel Joe Milton?
Right now, I feel better about Joe Milton, but I think it's very similar.
We've already seen more from Joe Milton in the one game he played versus Buffalo than we've ever seen from Trey Lance.
Cooper Rush or Joe Milton?
I still want Joe Milton. Now, if you're telling me I have one game right now and I have to go win it, maybe it would be Cooper Rush today. But in terms of the investment and just the general excitement on a Sunday when Dak's down and Milton starting instead of Cooper Rush, give me Milton 10 out of 10.
You let Rush go for $3 million to Baltimore. I think that's a big swing and a miss. Like, you could have kept Milton and Rush just like you had Rush and Lance.
Could have. He could have. I mean, I'm fine with rocking with the young quarterback, grooming him. Let's see what he
You like missing the playoffs, Wolchuk?
If you're not going to make the playoffs, yeah, I'd rather not win those extra games. And then
what if Dak
then
is
I could have
hurt?
gotten Tet McMillan there.
What if Dak's hurt for 3 games in November?
Yeah, that's when you're hoping that maybe you can get the Cooper Rush. But Joe Milton did win a game there at the end of the season against Buffalo, so I'm hoping that he can be that quarterback that is good enough to win in a 3-game stretch, or he's just going to stink and, hey, your team's not going to be any good anymore. Now you can be in position to maybe draft your next franchise quarterback.